Position the base frame on the floor a few feet away from the wall. This will allow room to work on the back panels while assembling the sauna. You can slide the sauna closer to the wall after the panels are in place. The stamped numbers on the base frame should be readable from inside the sauna room. Using the pre-drilled holes and one 3-inch screw at each corner, fasten the corners of the base frame. The pre-drilled holes are purposefully made at an angle. Select the heater location. The air inlet should be as near to the heater as possible. Use a drill with a 3/4 inch bit and drill 4 holes in the base frame below the heater. Another option is to cut into the base rail with a jigsaw or handsaw. If so, make the vent opening 6 inches long by 1.5 inches deep. Start your wall panel assembly in a corner. Slide this panel along the base frame until it is snug in the corner. The interior tongue and groove of this panel must butt up directly to the base frame. If installing a cedar or redwood version, leave the tongue 3/8 of an inch away from the corner so the seam on the inside looks good. If the tongue on a cedar or redwood room is pushed tight into the corner, the panels will not fit properly. Have someone hold the first panel in place and then put the other corner panel on the base frame. For ease in placing the panels, tip one corner onto the base frame and then lower the other side until it rests on the base frame and slide it tight into the corner. Set the pre-drilled corner post on the base frame and align it flush with the internal panel framework, making sure the tongue and groove of the panels remains fully exposed for application of the corner cap. Use at least 3 3-inch screws per panel to attach the corner post to both panels. Continue setting the panels into place as marked. The numbers are not necessarily in the order which the panels are installed. For instance, some people start with panels 5 and 6 or in any logical corner. The largest number on the base frame is the standard door location and is sometimes interchangeable with other panels. Use the barbed wood fasteners to join the tops of the panels. You may install the benches before or after your front wall is completed. In this scenario, we will be installing the benches before our final 2 panels. There are 4 bench support boards. The interior walls have been marked at the heights you should attach the bench supports. Use the 3-inch screws and pre-drilled holes to secure the bench support. To install screws in all the pre-drilled holes. When installed at the height noted, the 3-inch screws will line up with the internal framing of the panels for necessary strength. Install the benches, starting with the bottom bench first. Note that one side of the bench is finished while the other has exposed framing. The bench should be installed with the finished face forward. The benches do not need to be fastened to the walls. This will allow for ease in cleaning. On saunas having an L-shaped top bench, you will have an additional upper bench support fastened to the walls so the tops are 30 inches off the floor. 2 3/8 inch holes have been drilled through the frame of the upper L bench. With the top of the benches aligned, use a 3/8 inch drill bit and drill through the 2 provided holes and through the face of the main upper bench. Bolt the 2 benches together using the 5.5 inch carriage bolts provided. The door panel should be installed before your last corner panel is put in place. Tilt the top of each panel back to get the tongue and groove alignment started, then tilt forward for an easy fit. After installing the last wall panel and screwing the final corner post in place, the next step is to assemble and install the top plate, sometimes referred to as the ceiling frame. This top plate aligns and locks the top of the wall panels together. Firmly press it down. Use a hammer if needed. The top of the plate should be flush with the top of the interior tongue and groove. Then use 2-inch screws spaced every 12 to 18 inches to fasten the top plate to the framework of the wall panels. Installing foam tape along the top plate will provide a better seal once the ceiling panels are installed. The tape should be centered on the top plate and will encircle the entire room. With one person inside the sauna room and another outside, feed the ceiling panels over the top of the walls, being very careful not to scratch the panels. When in position, they will rest on the top plate. In the case of more than one ceiling panel, adjoin the panels as shown. Lift the panels together, then lower at the same time, allowing the tongue and groove to lock together. Install the preformed corner cap to cover the outside corners of the room. The corner cap is marked to correspond with the corner post. Using the finishing nails provided, nail the corner cap to the corner posts. Be sure the top of the preformed corner cap is flush with the top of the wall panels. One of the wall panels has a removable board to allow for wiring access to the heater. This tongue and groove board is located in the trim package. After the wiring is completed, attach the board with the galvanized nails provided in the hardware pack. Making sure it is level, hold the backrest at your preferred height. A standard height is 20 inches from the top of the bench to the top of the backrest. Fasten it to the wall through the pre-drilled holes using 2-inch screws. Wood plugs are provided to cover the exposed screw head. Using the screws provided, install the door handles with the center of the handle approximately 36 inches off the floor. After the handles are fastened, install the provided wood plugs to fill the holes. Using the provided galvanized finishing nails, nail the cove molding to the wall. Place the heater guard around the heater as described in your heater instructions. Spacing may vary. Consult your heater manual for proper clearances. The fascia can be installed using simple butt-end cuts or with miter cuts. If using butt-end joints, cut the side wall fascia the same length as the side walls. The front fascia should be cut to overlap the side fascia. For a finished look, fasten the fascia with the top edge approximately 1/4 inch above the top of the tongue and groove boards, using the provided galvanized finishing nails. Do not install the fascia until your heater is wired, since the electrical access board may need to be removed. If you are sliding your sauna back into a corner or against a wall, apply the louvered vent grill to cover the vent hole on the back side of the wall before sliding it into place. Install the vent valve inside the sauna, covering the vent hole. Now place your ductboard in the walk area in front of the door. Consult your heater manual for operating instructions for the heater model you have purchased. If you have any questions, call Saunatec toll-free at 1-888-780-4427.
Your new Finleo sauna will arrive pre-assembled as one piece. However, the unit can be separated into 2 pieces simply by unlocking the cam locks and sliding the halves apart. Each piece will then fit through most standard doorways. Notice that your new sauna is equipped with several features that ensure proper orientation and fit once reassembled. First, as shown here, there is tongue and groove paneling along the floor line. Second, there are pegs on the frame bottom that act as a base interlock. And finally, make up our cam lock system. When reassembling, simply line up the 2 halves using the features and slide together. Again, use an Allen wrench to engage the cam locking system. To begin your roof kit installation, locate the 2 gable ends. And with saunas 5x7 and larger, also locate the center truss. With the tongue and groove facing outward, place the 2 gable ends on the existing top of the sauna room. Make sure the tongue and groove on the gable ends line up perfectly flush with the tongue and groove on the outside of the sauna room. Using the 3-inch torque screws provided, run several screws through the 2x4 frame of the gable ends and into the existing sauna top. Sections of the tongue and groove paneling have been removed for this purpose and will be replaced in a later step. For saunas 5x7 and larger, fasten the center truss. Position the center truss directly in between the two gable ends. Screw it into place using 3-inch screws. Run 4 screws down through the truss and into the existing sauna top to fasten it securely. With help from 2 or more people, you can now place either of the 2 roof panels into position. If aligned properly, the front overhang will be 16 inches from the face of the gable end to the outside of the fascia board. The back overhang will be approximately 6 to 8 inches. Making sure the ceiling panel is held into place, you can now fasten it down using 3-inch screws. Run the screws up through the openings in the tongue and groove, through the 2x4 framework of the gable ends, and into the underside of the roof panel. Install the second roof panel in the same manner as you did the first roof panel. After the roof panels are securely fastened, you can replace the tongue and groove pieces on the gable ends. These have been modified so that they can be easily replaced simply by sliding the tongue and groove into position first, followed by the modified groove. Complete this with finishing nails to fasten the top and the bottom. For a custom look, decorative end caps have been provided for both the front and back. Simply attach with finishing nails. The first step in applying the roof cap is to put down the tar paper, which comes with the kit. Center it along the peak of the roof and fasten it with staples. The roof cap consists of 2 half-inch boards that are longer than your roof to ensure a custom finished look. Cut these boards to the length of your roof. Place the first board flush with the peak and fasten it into place with finishing nails. Place the second board overlapping the first board to create the finished ridge cap. Using the provided finishing nails, tack the second board into the first board. Securely fasten the remainder of the board into the roof panel using finishing nails. Last, cut away excess tar paper with a sharp utility knife. As a final step, after the roof is complete, cut the trim to fit your sauna's exact measurements and attach to give it a clean, finished look.
You can easily assemble the steam bath yourself because it is made with prefabricated parts. Your steam room comes packaged on a pallet and contains all necessary hardware and components. Some points you should remember. Use the provided screws or appropriate plated, galvanized, or stainless steel screws. Pre-drill all holes. No self-tapping fasteners have been provided. Electrical connections must be made by an authorized electrician. Detailed instructions are included with the control unit. We recommend that the plumbing work be done by a qualified professional. Determine where in the room the steam bath will be located and on which side the door will be located. The floor covering must be smooth, level, and made of a waterproof material such as ceramic tile, linoleum, or concrete. A floor drain near the center of the room is best. If installing an exhaust vent, plan the location to accommodate your vent piping. Lay out your base frame on the floor, leaving enough distance away from the room walls so you can have working space. After completing assembly, you can move the steam room to its final location. The corners of the base frame are fastened by inserting the plastic joiners and screwing the joints together. Using the half-inch metal screws stored inside one of your base rail sections, join all the corners together. Apply 2 rows of white self-adhesive sealing tape along the top of the complete base frame. Once it is stuck, remove the protective paper. All wall panel joints also use self-adhesive sealing tape. Apply the tape to the side of one panel where it will join the next panel. Remove the protective paper before joining the panels. Start assembly of the wall panels in a corner not containing your door. Carefully place the panels on top of the base frame, making sure they are properly aligned with the frame and with each other. The sections forming the corner should fit snugly together. While making sure the panels line up properly, lock the panels together using 2 clamps, one at the top and another at the bottom. Both vice grips and spring clamps work well for this purpose. The wall panels are fastened together on the back side with clamping rails. These rails are filled with silicone. Every clamping rail used in this assembly will require this step. It should be carried out carefully to ensure the room is sealed perfectly. To install the clamping rail, angle it away from the corner and press it onto the flanges of the corner panels as close to the bottom as possible. It might be necessary to use a rubber mallet to tap the rail into place. With help from another person, squeeze the panels together with a clamp and press or tap the rail into place. Work upwards from the bottom, moving the clamp as required to help press the wall flanges together. Also, make sure the rail is down as far as possible. This is required so there is room for the ceiling and corner joiners that will be installed later to fasten the ceiling panels in place. If necessary, use a mallet or hammer and wood block to tap the rail down as far as possible. On the inside of the steam room. Continue putting the rest of the side panels into place on the base frame. Make sure you apply the foam tape to the sides and fill the clamping rails with silicone. A clamping rail is installed at each wall panel junction using the same technique that was used for the corner panels. The walls are held in place with clamps while the clamping rail is pressed onto the flanges of the adjoining walls. Work from the bottom to the top when pressing the flanges on. Again, be certain the clamping rails are down far enough to make room for the ceiling and corner joiners that will be installed after the ceiling is put in place. Be sure to check the seams on the inside of the steam room as you go. Uneven joints can be corrected by tapping the protruding panel with a rubber mallet. As you work your way around the room, installing each panel in turn, make sure the whole room is positioned on the base frame properly. Make any necessary adjustments as you go.